Genesis 25 covers several significant events in the lives of Abraham and his descendants. Here's a summary of the chapter. Before we start, we'd like to ask for your support. If you enjoy our video, please hit the like button. This will help us reach more people and create content for you. Now let's get started with today's video. Genesis 25 verses 1 to 6, Abraham's marriage to Keturah and his descendants. The chapter opens by recounting Abraham's remarriage after the death of Sarah. Keturah becomes his wife, and together they have 6 children: Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan, one of Keturah's sons, has 2 sons of his own, Sheba and Dedan. Dedan's descendants include the Ashurim, Letushim, and Lumim. Midian, another son of Keturah, has 5 sons: Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Eldah. This list of offspring is crucial as it highlights the beginnings of various tribes and nations that would populate the surrounding regions. Midian, for example, would become the ancestor of the Midianites, a people who would later feature in the story of Moses. Although Abraham has numerous children through Keturah, the biblical text makes it clear that Isaac, the son of Abraham and Sarah, is the primary heir. Abraham gave all he had to Isaac, v. 5. This is a reflection of the covenant that God made with Abraham, where he promised that the blessing would pass through Isaac. In contrast, Abraham provides gifts for the sons of his concubines and sends them away eastward to prevent any challenges to Isaac's inheritance. The term concubines is used here to refer to both Keturah and Hagar, though Keturah is referred to as a wife earlier. The sending away of these other sons demonstrates Abraham's intent to secure the promised land and its blessings for Isaac alone. Genesis 25 verses 7 to 11, the death of Abraham. After a long and eventful life, Abraham dies at the age of 175. The text notes that he died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people, v. 8. This phrase, gathered to his people, is significant as it implies a reunion with those who had gone before him, such as Sarah, his wife. It may also carry connotations of life after death, a belief that will be more fully developed in later biblical writings. Abraham is buried in the cave of Machpelah, which he had purchased earlier as a burial site for Sarah, Genesis 23. Isaac and Ishmael come together to bury their father, indicating that, despite their separation, they maintain a bond through their father's death. This act of reconciliation and joint burial mirrors the earlier resolution between Isaac and Ishmael during Abraham's life, symbolizing unity among Abraham's descendants. After Abraham's death, the blessing of God rests upon Isaac. Verse 11 notes that, after the death of Abraham, God blessed his son Isaac. This transition emphasizes the continuity of the covenant promises from Abraham to Isaac. Isaac resides in Beer-lahai-roi, the place where Hagar once encountered God. This connection between Isaac and Ishmael's earlier story may hint at the overlapping narratives of Abraham's descendants. Genesis 25 verses 12 to 18, the genealogy of Ishmael. The next section of the chapter presents the genealogy of Ishmael, Abraham's first son by Hagar, the Egyptian maidservant. Ishmael's descendants become the ancestors of 12 tribes, echoing the promise God made to Hagar in Genesis 17 verse 20 that Ishmael would father 12 princes. These descendants established themselves in a region stretching from Havilah to Shur, which is east of Egypt. The text is careful to emphasize that Ishmael's descendants lived in defiance of all their kin, v. 18, which may suggest conflict with other peoples, including those descended from Isaac. Ishmael lives to be 137 years old before his death, fulfilling the lifespan expected of one who carries a divine promise, though his story largely runs parallel to the central covenant line through Isaac. Genesis 25 verses 19 to 26, the birth of Esau and Jacob. The focus then shifts to Isaac's family, particularly to the birth of Esau and Jacob. Rebekah, Isaac's wife, is initially barren, much like Sarah, Isaac's mother. After Isaac prays to the Lord for Rebekah, she conceives twins. Her pregnancy is difficult, and she inquires of God about the nature of the struggle within her womb. God's response is both prophetic and revealing. 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples born of you shall be divided. The one shall be stronger than the other, the elder shall serve the younger. v. 23. This prophecy foreshadows the future relationship between the descendants of Esau, the Edomites, and Jacob, the Israelites. The elder, Esau, will serve the younger, Jacob, a reversal of the typical cultural expectations of primogeniture. Esau is born first, with Jacob following closely, grasping Esau's heel. This unusual birth scene is laden with symbolism. The name Jacob, Yaakov in Hebrew, is associated with the Hebrew word for heel, but it also carries connotations of deception or supplanting, which will play out in Jacob's later actions. The struggle between the 2 brothers, already evident in the womb, will become a central theme in their story as adults. Genesis 25 verses 27 to 34, Esau sells his birthright. The final section of the chapter recounts a pivotal moment in the relationship between Esau and Jacob. As the 2 boys grow into adulthood, they develop distinct personalities and preferences. Esau becomes a skillful hunter, while Jacob is described as a quiet man living in tents. v. 27. The contrast between Esau's outdoor life and Jacob's more domestic lifestyle sets the stage for future conflicts. The favoritism of their parents also becomes apparent here. Isaac favors Esau, while Rebekah favors Jacob. This parental favoritism will play a significant role in the unfolding drama of their family. One day, Esau returns from hunting, exhausted and famished. Jacob seizes the opportunity and offers to give Esau some stew in exchange for his birthright, the special inheritance and blessing reserved for the firstborn son. Esau, in his hunger, agrees to the deal, dismissing the value of his birthright by saying, "I am about to die. Of what use is a birthright to me?" v. 32. The text presents this transaction as an indication of Esau's lack of regard for spiritual and familial blessings, while also foreshadowing Jacob's future role as the bearer of the covenant promises. Esau's choice to sell his birthright for a single meal is depicted as impulsive and short-sighted, and it will have long-lasting consequences in their relationship. Jacob, on the other hand, demonstrates cunning and foresight, although his actions are morally ambiguous. The exchange of the birthright reveals his desire to secure a position of power within the family, but it also introduces themes of deceit and manipulation that will continue to define his character. The chapter ends with the simple statement, "Thus Esau despised his birthright," v. 34. Marking a turning point in the story of the 2 brothers. Theological and literary themes in Genesis 25. Genesis 25 contains several important themes that resonate throughout the biblical narrative. Covenant and blessing, the chapter emphasizes the continuation of the covenant promises made to Abraham, first through Isaac and later through Jacob. Even though Abraham has other sons, Isaac is the sole inheritor of the divine blessing, highlighting the idea of election and God's sovereign choice in determining the line of promise. Divine reversal of expectations, the reversal of the birth order, where the younger Jacob is chosen over the elder Esau, is a recurring motif in Genesis. It echoes earlier stories, such as the preference for Abel's offering over Cain's. This theme challenges human expectations and highlights God's unpredictable ways of working in the world. Parental favoritism and family dynamics. The favoritism shown by Isaac and Rebekah towards their respective sons foreshadows the conflict that will arise within the family. The dynamics of sibling rivalry and parental favoritism continue to play a significant role in the story of Jacob and Esau, as well as in the lives of Jacob's own children later in the narrative. The role of women in the covenant. Rebekah's inquiry of the Lord during her difficult pregnancy shows her active participation in the covenant promises. Like Sarah before her, Rebekah plays a crucial role in the unfolding of God's plan, and her insight into the divine prophecy concerning her sons will influence her future decisions. The nature of the birthright, which Esau sells to Jacob, is more than just a material inheritance. It carries spiritual significance, including the right to lead the family and inherit the covenant promises. Esau's disregard for the birthright highlights the importance of valuing spiritual blessings, a theme that will reappear throughout the Bible. Conclusion. Genesis 25 is a key chapter that transitions the focus from Abraham to his descendants, particularly Isaac and Jacob. The chapter sets the stage for the ongoing narrative of the patriarchs, emphasizing the themes of divine election, covenant blessings, and family conflict. It also highlights the moral complexities of the characters, particularly Jacob, whose actions will continue to shape the destiny of the Israelite people. Through the events of Genesis 25, the Bible begins to develop the larger story of God's chosen people, their struggles, and the unfolding of His plan for the nations. Please subscribe my YouTube channel. I hope you like this video. Thank you.